The crux of the issue for me comes down to, number one, we have a bit of a misuse of diversified technique. And I'm talking about, and this is the take home point, I'm talking about individuals, practitioners who are utilizing a cervical adjustment supine that is more of a forced over rotation of the cervical spine as opposed to a more of a linear set and hold. Now, I know I'm on camera and you can't really see the difference. And one day, we'll get a GoPro out and we'll get some setups done here. But I'm talking about we want to avoid doing a forced over rotation as opposed to a linear thrust. Now, let's talk about diversified by definition. There are a few things that define what diversified is. And some people say diversified is just sloppy Gonstead, or it's just, whatever someone threw together. Well, let's talk about what we know about diversified. Diversified, number one, is a tool designed for rotation, a rotational misalignment, right? So a theta, positive or negative theta, that'd be Y, okay? Theta Y rotation of a vertebra. Okay. Number two, instead of being concerned with a disc plane line, okay, diversified is focused more on the facet angle, whatever that facet angle is in the cervical spine, kind of an I to S. We have our coronal facets or sagittal facets, okay. And number three, diversified is defined by this idea of traction leverage, which generally not always, generally means a two-point tension. That two-point tension is obtained by a combination of lateral flexion or lateral bend and then rotation to a point of comfortable tension, safe tension, okay? Provided you have the correct segment that is fixated in a rotational plane, okay? So rotation's important for diversified. The facet angle is important for diversified. Two-point tension is important for diversified. These are defining factors. What's my discussion about? My discussion is, why are we skipping over diversified adjusting in the cervical spine at the mention of anything cardiovascular or at the mention of a pediatric practitioner? My premise is that we need to not put in the understanding of what diversified is, this forced over rotation, but rather a two-point tension and then a linear thrust, okay? So if we are doing this, if we are truly cleaning up our technique, right, and we are adhering to those rules that define what diversified is, I don't think we really have too much to worry about. There is information and literature out there that supports that safe, conscientious adjusting of the cervical spine is safe in issues where there are cardiovascular concerns, where there are youngsters involved, or even some degree of hypermobility, as long as you are adhering to those ideals, right? Two-point tension, facet angle, and dealing with rotation. If your misalignment's primarily posterior, pick another tool, folks. It's not going to be diversified. You might want to go with a cervical chair Gonstead adjustment. You might want to go P to A with a drop piece without any rotation. So you just have to pick the right tool for the job. And so I urge all of us who are using cervical diversified adjusting, seated or supine, we dial in just a little bit more.